He said, no way, never again, nuh-uh. But Roger Clemens may be thinking about another shot at the big leagues after all. The 50-year-old pitcher told ESPN that he would like to join the Houston Astros in spring training next season. It is his hometown. Clemens made his second start for the Independent League's Sugarland Skeeters last night. In 2 games, he shows he's still got the stuff. He allowed no runs, no walks, and 3 hits while striking out 3.
The scientists who are working hard to try to figure that out. Let's go to Janet Wu. She's live in Wellfleet with what we know tonight.
It is such a tough question, and it is unknown why so many dolphins come ashore here. One factor is believed to be the tricky topography of the Cape, which acts as a kind of trap for these animals. And the number of strandings so far this year is staggering. Another day, another dolphin found dying or dead. So many are coming ashore now. Rescuers are no longer waiting for the calls.
It's not prudent to wait anymore because we've had so many strandings right in a row. We're staging our teams out in the field. We're actually departing now before low tide to be out in Wellfleet, which is our hot spot.
Every day, crews from the International Fund for Animal Welfare gear up, drive to Wellfleet, and wait. Every single day this week, more dolphins have been found.
We're very tired. We've been going from January 12th, and the team is actually just exhausted, and so it's almost a daily event now.
About 200 animals strand themselves on the Cape each year, but not all of them dolphins. So this sad phenomenon is baffling scientists. So far, 129 dolphins have stranded themselves in just over a month, 80% of them here in Wellfleet. Of those, just 37 could be saved. 92 dolphins have died.
It's in fact the largest single species stranding that we've had in this area of the U.S.
A sad battle rescuers can barely keep up with, let alone win. And IFA is calling in crews from the aquarium and other places for mutual aid just so their own folks can get a single day off. And another crisis is brewing. Because of the number of strandings, the organization has almost exhausted its rescue budget for the year. Reporting live from Wellfleet, Janet Wu, 7 News.
Well, Adam, first of all, this is not uncommon here in Natick, sadly. Police say they've investigated about 100 such cases in town over the past year or so. But usually those thieves find an open car, take a cell phone or GPS unit. In this case, things really escalated when that man woke up to confront the people he heard smashing his car window. And even though there was that gaffe, many quick to point out that Obama made the same gaffe introducing Biden 4 years ago. Our political chief, Andy Hiller, has been watching the announcement alongside us. He joins us now by phone. So, Andy, give us the grade. How do you think Paul Ryan did on his first big test?
More, Janet?
Adam, the former Navy SEAL, using the pseudonym of Mark Owen, appeared on 60 Minutes for his only scheduled interview. His face and voice were both altered. During that interview, he used a model of bin Laden's compound to show what happened the night of the raid in May of 2011. Owen claims he is one of 2 team members who actually shot bin Laden. Owen says he wrote No Easy Day because he wanted people to have a first-hand account of what happened that night. Owen says after bin Laden was shot, a child inside the compound confirmed they had just killed the al-Qaeda leader.
Janet?
Sarah, this comes just 3 days after the palace revealed Prince Harry had been deployed to Afghanistan, and now specific threats are being made against his life. NBC News is reporting that the Taliban is referring to Harry as, quote, a precious bird that they will try to kidnap or kill. Harry is on the front lines of the NATO-led war against the Taliban insurgency. According to NBC, a Taliban spokesman says the organization will track Harry through spies that have infiltrated Afghan security. As you know, such infiltrators have taken the lives of many American soldiers there over recent months, leading to the suspension of the entire Afghan police force. NBC also reports that the Taliban plans to fire rocket-propelled weapons at Apache helicopters, and that is the aircraft Harry is trained to fly. He is on a 4-month deployment to Afghanistan. He last served there in 2008, but was suddenly recalled by the palace after his presence there was revealed by British media. At the time, there was concern Harry and his military comrades could become specific targets, and that has apparently happened this morning. It should be interesting to see what response the palace has to this latest threat. Harry is third in line to the British throne after his father and older brother. He turns 28 next week. At the breaking news desk, Janet Wu, 7 News Today, New England.
You are going to be so impressed when you see this lady. She's about my size, all of 110 pounds. She tells me she fought back for 2 reasons. First, to keep that suspect from actually using his gun, and secondly, to keep him from taking her hard-earned money. This is a tale of someone fighting back and winning.
Oh, I took his t-shirt.
She can laugh, but Farida has wounds from her ordeal. It began Thursday afternoon when a masked robber burst into her Cambridge convenience store, brandishing a gun.
He put the gun on me and on her too, and then he asked me, give me the money. So I told her, give the money, whatever he's asking for.
At the register, he grabs cash and puts the gun down. That's when Farida makes her move.
I pushed the gun like that to the other side.
And then the tiny woman jumps on her attacker.
Oh, I threw him out.
The two tussled in this area, with the fight continuing down this aisle and out the front as the suspect was trying to make an escape. It was hand-to-hand combat as the two continued fighting, getting dangerously close to that gun.
I know if he gets the gun, he will shoot me.
He eventually runs out the door, dragging Farida with him. She chases him another block where he hops a bike and escapes.
Unbelievably brave. They fought him off. The guy had a gun.
He's a coward. I mean, if you gotta attack small women to try to get, what are they gonna get, $20, $30 out of the register? I mean, obviously he's desperate.
Police impressed, but not all pleased.
Police said, you want to take my job? This is not your job. You should not do it.
Turns out that suspect got 0. He ended up dropping all the money as he was trying to escape from Farida. No arrest yet, but he left behind plenty of evidence, including his hat, his shoes, part of that shirt she ripped off of him. So we'll let you know when he's caught. From a new season to one that is stumbling to the finish line, even Mother Nature can't slow or stop the Red Sox's losing streak. After more rain delays last night, the Blue Jays took home another win. Krista, you're talking about almost 300,000 people without power, and I'm going to show you why. Take a look over here at these trees that are just off by the side of the road. You can see how hard they are really blowing around, the wind just gusting. And again, these may not be hurricane force winds that they have, but they are stiff and they are sustained. If you look down past me, whoops, down the hill over there, you can see exactly what it did this morning to a family. Let's show you some video that we took just a little while ago. Earlier, around 10:30 this morning, this family had just parked their car when a tree came crashing down on top of their garage and the car, and basically took down all the lines with it. They, of course, lost their power, they lost their cable, they lost their telephone, so they're only watching me live right now outside their front door, not on the television set. And then just around the corner, the same thing happened to another family. At 9:30 in the morning, the husband was in his upstairs office, the wife was in the living room, their daughter was asleep, and all of a sudden they get a rude awakening. The 40-foot tall tree that had been in their yard for so many years, well, it figured it had enough, and it had a loud crash, a creak, and it gave them a rude awakening. Not only did it take down all the lines, their power, telephone, cable, etc., but as you can see, it also took out their front entry. So back live to me now, I'm sort of in a hilltop area in Lynn. I just almost lost my hat here. That was a scream that I just made, so I apologize for that. But the winds here are really pronounced and exacerbated because of where we are. And all over in this neighborhood, pretty much everyone has lost power. Lynn overall not doing too badly though right now. About 200 people here in the dark. But as you again say, statewide, 300,000 customers now without power. And even though we still have this rain, you can see it coming down here, the real problem are those winds. Reporting live from Lynn, Janet Wu, 7 News.
Janet, continue to be our eyes on the street if you could. What's the worst thing you've seen today during your travels as far as damage?
Well, it all depends on what's important to you. That poor family, I felt really bad for them because we said Irene basically did not want them to leave for the day since she blocked their front entry. But I was in Tewksbury earlier, and there was a man who always has a very large Labor Day party at the backyard pool. It's one of those above-ground pools. Well, actually, Irene sent a tree right over into the pool. So as he said, he has to send out cancellation notices or send the party over to his neighbors. As you can see, the wind is still pretty rough right here. I've been hanging on to a lot of things so I don't get blown away myself. So it's definitely going to be a few more hours that we have to keep an eye on the neighborhoods and especially see the damage.
Well, Janet, how about road closures and things like that on your way there? Was it pretty dicey trying to get to that particular neighborhood because of standing water and things like that?
Well, here I am right now. The elevation is a little higher, so I haven't had problems here. Earlier I was in Marblehead, and police cruisers were out there just to make sure that people were staying safe, because the road to the neck, when it's high tide, not only was the water crashing over, but as we see in other places, it often tosses rocks and other debris over as well. Now, when we left, they had not closed the road, and we've seen minor standing water. Nothing too bad here, not as we've seen on the South Shore. But again, we've seen a lot of trees down, a lot of lines down, and I know we say this over and over and over again, but we heard this police officer yelling at people, you cannot get close to those lines, because the experts know which one is which, but it's very hard for the rest of us to know which one's the power line, which one's the phone line, which one's the cable line, and all of them can be dangerous when they're on the ground.
Lynn admits it's quirky. Her son found these mannequin legs in a dumpster.
We thought it'd be really cool because let's have it coming out of the stump. The stump's so ugly, let's have some lawn art.
They change his clothes with the seasons and special occasions.
He's been dressed for Christmas, wearing Christmas holiday outfits and lights surrounding him. Halloween, he loves Halloween.
Earlier this year, a provocative postcard arrived from Mr. Man E. Quinn.
On the back it said, I see you every day. Will you go out with me?
The flirtations continued. I never thought socks and sandals could be so attractive, this one said. And then in February, a card arrived saying, be on the lookout. I have a surprise for you.
A few days later, she appeared, dressed in her Valentine outfit.
They seem happy, but like all relationships, there are issues. She's even dumped him a few times.
She comes and goes, though. Sometimes she needs to be alone, and he needs alone time. And she'll reappear.
Usually in a new outfit. Despite the occasional separations and quarrels, these two have been together since Valentine's Day. That's 8 months. Clearly, this relationship has legs. You may notice while Manny is upside down, she is not.
Women are usually right. Upright, I meant to say.
Lynn and her husband don't know who's behind all this, and they're not concerned.
This is just really fun, and to keep that mystery going.
In Orleans, Janet Wu, 7 News 19.
Well, no matter how cold it gets here, there are people who have to go outside, and unbelievably, people who love going outside. Take a look.
In the dead of winter, Boston's Esplanade is a lonely place, except for the crazy few. Why?
I just have to do it. It's just a run. It's cold, but I have to do it.
So you're one of those crazy obsessive runners?
Absolutely.
Running we can understand, but strolling in this weather, especially after your dog has done its business?
I'm from Canada.
Oh, Canada, that explains it. 10 degrees is warm to her, but not to most, even hardy New Englanders.
Oh, horrible.
If you must go out, don't stay long. This is definitely frostbite weather.
Once you have frostbite, that skin is never the same again. It's always more cold sensitive. It's always easier to injure.
This kind of weather can affect our city emergency rooms in 2 ways. On one hand, more people who are ill actually stay home. On the other, they see a spike in cold-induced asthma and slips and falls.
So watch your step and leave nothing exposed. This is definitely a no-no. Are you from another planet?
No, I'm not. I live in West Roxbury.
But aren't you dying?
No, it's actually not that bad. You know, you give it 5 minutes and they just heat up, kinda. Or they go numb, either or.
God bless him. For the rest of us, we're going numb.
What's it worth for a little convenience? This is the parking space in Boston that will probably give you sticker shock.
It's ironic, in these recessionary times when it's tough to sell a condo or a house, a record is set for a parking space. As you say, it is location, location, location on the first block of Commonwealth Avenue where I am standing, right around the corner from Newbury Street. Take a look.
As far as amenities go, it's not much. Brick pavers, a little landscaping, but let's face it, the view stinks. That's why the price is so shocking.
$300,000 for that space?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, I had no idea. Yeah. I'll have to sell mine soon.
It's a new record for a Boston parking space, $300,000, and the space is not even garaged or covered.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money for a parking space. Sí, un poquito caro.
Yes, it's a little expensive, says the guy who regularly parks his bike next to the space for free. The name of the buyer has not yet been registered, but we can tell you both the seller and the buyer live in this building. It is shocking to think that this postage stamp of a plot is going for the same price as a big house in the suburbs.
That's what the market is commanding, so why not?
The previous price was $250,000, also for a space here in the Back Bay. That was a previous record. We did hear there were competing offers for this space, and that may have driven the price up. Clearly, there are more than a few people for whom money is no object when it comes to parking. Reporting live from Boston's Back Bay, Janet Wu, 7 News 19. Every 3 years or so, we Boston residents expect to be called for jury duty. Well, last week, this East Boston couple got a summons for here, Suffolk Superior Court. But it wasn't for them, it was for their cat. And untangling this mess has been a case in itself. Sal's a scaredy cat. You see, he's trying to avoid jury duty. Yes, you heard right. Sal's been called.
And I read the whole thing and I said, oh my God, how could he go? He's a cat.
I said, Sal, what's this? You know, I couldn't believe it. I was shocked.
Probably do meow for the answer.
Anna thinks she knows the source of the mix-up. Sal really is a member of the family, so on the last census form, she listed him under pets.
So I just wrote Sal Esposito, scratched out the dog, and wrote cat.
Sal can't use the computer, so Anna filed for his disqualification of service. He's not too old or ill or a convicted felon, so she chose the most obvious reason. Sal can't speak English. But the jury commissioner is unmoved. Request denied.
And I said, well, Mommy's in a lot of trouble now.
She went to the vet and got this letter stating, this is to confirm that Sal Esposito is a domestic short-hair neutered feline. Granted, he loves crime shows.
He knows right and wrong.
But justice should not rest in his paws. Sal's jury service is set for March 23rd. If this mess is not cleared up by then, Anna says she'll have to take the cat to court. In Boston, Janet Wu, 7 News 19.